Hello, welcome to New South Wales DPI's second video showing how to make the most of the BPASS system. BPASS is New South Wales Government's platform for managing public apiary sites. These videos are intended to help you get the most out of BPASS. My name is Nick Gagan, and today we're walking through the process to hold or apply for an apiary site that's been vacant long term. These videos are intended to complement the existing resources. So if you go to the BPASS webpage and you click through to the How To page, there's a lot of resources here that are step-by-step instructions for how to carry out the main functions within BPASS. So this is probably the best starting point, but certainly the videos will help you visually understand how to use the system and hopefully get up to speed quickly. So that's a good resource to look at if you're not sure about something. But otherwise, let's get in and have a look at the demo. So we're not going to go through the login process. Depending on whether you've used BPASS before or not, you may need to pre-register with the biosecurity team and use their Byte portal, or you may be just logging in. So I'm not going to walk through that, but steps how to do that for your first time are on this How To page. So if you just search for BPASS and BPASS DPI How To, you'll find a solution there. Okay, so let's go and jump into the demonstration. So when we've logged into BPASS, we come to our normal page. There's a couple of things here. There's an alert telling me that I need to pay an invoice. We won't be doing that right now, with that another time. But this icon here, view available apiary sites. This will take you to a map which displays across New South Wales any potentially available apiary sites. The dark sites are marked as are the occupied sites, and the purple sites are potentially available sites. So if you scroll right in, let's have a look at a couple of potential apiary sites here. So as I said, the purple sites, which have got hashing from the top left to the bottom right, are the potentially available sites. Sites which have hashing from the top right to the bottom left are not available as they are previously occupied by another beekeeper or unavailable for another reason. If there's no site marked, it's likely that these sites are unavailable for apiary sites. So let's go straight in and click on one of these sites. So when we click on a site, you can see further detail about the site. You see the name of the site, the allocation type. So there are two types of allocation. There's expression of interest sites, which are used for new or recently vacated sites, and it's a time-bound process. The sites are made available for a fixed period of time, and apiarist supply, and the apiarist who has the best record of biosecurity history and management is likely to get the site. All other things being equal, then it does go to a ballot. We've got the name of the, but in this second case is the long-term vacant sites, and they're basically allocated on a first come, first served basis. So the first person to apply for the site that's suitably qualified and to complete the application is likely to get the site. So that's the allocation type, the forest reserve. So this tells you the reserve name. So in this case, it's a forest, and it's Sunny Corner, the agency, Forestry Corporation, the agency region, quarry, and then whether any holds or applications have been received. So you may not be the first person to apply for this site. It's possible that somebody else has been on before you and has submitted a hold or an application. You will still be able to apply or hold the site or request a hold for a site. That hold will be granted once the other apiarist's application has either been cancelled by them or has been declined by the agencies. Your application will simply sit in a queue until that time, And then once that has been processed, you'll either be declined if the other person was accepted, or you will progress to an application yourself. So this number down here just tells you how many holds or applications received. That gives you an idea if there's somebody ahead of you in the queue. So right now we're going to hold a site. So if you do not know the site, you haven't visited it, you're not familiar with it, then the hold process gives you the opportunity to visit the site before you apply for it. You have 2 business days after the end of the current business day when you apply to visit the site, and it gives you a short time just to go there, check out the site, and if it's suitable, you can then decide to apply for it, or you can decide not to go ahead with it. So you don't have to submit a full application without having seen the site. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that right now. So I'm going to click on hold here. You'll see this displayed that a hold request has been added to the list. So the list of sites that you want to apply for are listed on the left hand side. So if you use this scroll button just to scroll down, you'll see those sites there. So let's say, for example, I'm interested in 3 different sites, but I don't know what the access is like. I don't know if they're suitable. I don't know what the forest is like. So I'm going to request a hold for all 3. Okay, so we've added a second one, added a third one. Okay, and before you apply for the sites, you could use the map to get more detail. For example, you might look at an aerial photograph. That might give you an idea. Obviously, these photographs can be a little bit out of date. So the fact that this area looks like it's been harvested, that may be some time ago. But on the other hand, if it's a plantation forestry, it may not be of interest to you anyway. That's the kind of thing that imagery will aerial imagery might help you to determine, could save you a bit of a drive by having a quick look at that before you apply for it. But there is a separate video on how to make the most of the maps, so we won't spend too much more time on that. So if we can close this here, let's go ahead. So we've got these 3 sites. We feel like they're the ones that we're interested in, so then we can confirm and request. So you just need to submit a single application for all of those sites. So if you have multiple registration names under your account in BPASS, so multiple beekeeping registrations, you can select the registration that you want to apply under. You must apply to agree to the terms and conditions, and you can see a list of the sites here. This information here will come through from your Byte account, so there's no need to update that if it's already there. You can then hit submit. So we get a notification saying all long-term vacant hold requests have been submitted. That tells you it's gone through, which is good news. And then you can go ahead and, for example, look for further sites, etc. You want to check and you want to see what has gone through. You can see here my holds. So we submitted 3 holds, and the 3 have come through here. So we these 3 sites in Sunny Corner. There's a couple here, LS ones that I applied for earlier on. You can see that they've been put on hold. So that tells you, and you will receive an email as well to confirm this, but that tells you that you have in fact gone straight into a hold for those sites. So that's good news. And you can go ahead and visit those sites. And if you choose to apply for those sites, then you will be first in the queue or the next in the queue based on this. Once you have visited the sites, you can then choose to submit an application. So for example, for these 2 sites we've visited and we think they're both good sites, so we can then submit an application. This will ask you for further more detail about yourself, your details. Most of this will come through from your Byte registration. Again, you need to make sure you have chosen the right apiarist, you have the required public liability insurance, and you agree to the apiary terms and conditions. If you don't have a copy of those will be sent to you. The key couple of things here is that you are confirming that you understand that the sites may not be suitable for beekeeping operation, depending on your setup and how you operate your business. It may or may not be the right site for you. You may have a large truck and access would only be suitable for a smaller one. And also the sites have not been vetted by the landholder and land managers. And so they, once they receive your application, will review it and double check the suitability of the site. So once you've read all that and you're happy with it, then you hit submit. So success, your long-term vacant site applications have been submitted. And so you can see the two applications for Sunny Corner are now listed down here, and the application's been submitted. So they then go to the DPI to check the validity of it, and then they go to the agencies. The agencies will check the sites, make sure that they are still a suitable apiary site, and determine if your application is approved. Once approved, you will then be sent an invoice to pay for the sites. Once the site has been paid for, then you'll be issued a permit. You can only use the sites once you've actually been issued that permit. That permit will be issued by email and will be available within BPASS after your application. So that was just a quick walk through the process to view apiary sites, to submit a hold and then submit an application. If you are familiar with the apiary sites, you don't have to go through the hold process. So if you've been to a site before, you've already visited it, you don't have to do a hold. You can go straight ahead and apply for the sites. But if you do apply for the sites, you are expected to then go ahead and pay for it and take up a permit. So if you have not visited the site and determined that it's actually not suitable, then it'll be too late. So that's the end of today's demo. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful. First place to look for any further detail is the how-to page. If you have trouble beyond that, you can get in touch with the apiary sites help desk at apairy.sites@dpi.nsw.gov.au, or call the apiary sites helpline. The number is on the BPASS website under the how-to page. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you again.
BPASS is an investment by the New South Wales Department of Primary Industries, New South Wales National Parks Wildlife Service, Forestry Corporation in New South Wales, and New South Wales Local Land Services as part of the New South Wales Government's whole of government policy framework for the management of apiary sites on public lands.